surfing is something that seems to be so much more difficult than our forehand surfing. And for many of us, we avoid it altogether. Across all the people I've coached, both face-to-face and via online surf analysis, this seems to be something that is consistently brought up. And typically, I find that many of us run into the same problems with respect to our backhand surfing, whether this be issues with balance, turning, cross-stepping, nose riding, or just anything else. So today, what I wanted to do is shed some light on what makes backhand surfing in general so much more difficult due to our body position and how we're performing maneuvers, and the relatively simple keys to unlocking this to not only improve surfing on our backhand, but make the approach much easier and more manageable for anyone. There are a few simple corrections that can go a long way, so I hope you stay tuned. It won't be a super long one, but hopefully really valuable in each point we discuss for you to take action with right into your surfing straight away. So let's get straight into it. And if you are new here, my name's Considine and I'm a longboard enthusiast, a professional longboarder and a surf coach. And I'm here to share my learnings and experiences like this one today with you all. So if you do find the video valuable, you find it useful, then please feel free to subscribe. And if you know of anyone else who might find it useful or valuable as well, then please feel free to share it with them. But let's get straight into the edit. Okay guys, so there's a few different aspects of backhand surfing that just make it that much more difficult to manage. The key thing holding us back is 1000% without a doubt our body positioning, which in rectifying in and of itself can have a profound effect. So let's go through the key mistakes and how to rectify them for your surfing. For one reason or another, when we're surfing in our backhand, we do tend to put ourselves into a really restrictive position where our chest is facing towards the beach and we're essentially surfing sideways. Now, this is a really easy thing to miss and not pick up on when you're not aware of it, but I challenge you to, if you have some footage of your backhand surfing, take a look at your chest position and where you're surfing on your backhand and have a look at where it's facing. Is your chest directly towards the beach or is it facing forwards, more so towards the nose of the board? And if you don't have any footage of yourself surfing on your backhand, what you can do is mark a line on the floor and position yourself like you're surfing on your backhand. So the wave behind you here, and maybe begin to do some turns or make some cross steps happen and see how that chest is positioned. Whether it's sideways facing, so we notice we're doing this, or we're trying to turn like this, or whether our chest is facing nice and forwards, and we've got a better direction and better control because of this, which we'll speak about in a second. Shortboarders and longboarders alike, this restrictive chest position affects all surfers at some point and is one of the big things that we can change to progress with our backhand surfing. The reason it can be so problematic is because the way our chest faces influences almost everything, from the positioning of the hips to our knees and our feet, to our eyes, and ultimately how we complete maneuvers overall. So similar to that of the video on the bottom turn that I recently completed on the Sunday Glide 155, if we're unable to make our body and chest face directly towards where we're completing a maneuver, we're going to run into a lot of the common problems and mistakes that we can make as surfers, which is where we're placing our body into a very closed off position. So the solution here, as simple as it seems, is going to be to rotate the chest towards the nose of the board. By doing this, we're going to be significantly more balanced and ready for maneuvers, and it'll have a few other benefits which will become more apparent as we discuss the following steps. Now, the second thing that I wanted to discuss, which is super important, will be the hips. Now, as we just spoke about, the chest influences the hips, and the hips, or more specifically, the direction in which our hips are facing, massively influences our forwards and backwards translation of our body weight on the surfboard, or more simply put, how smoothly and delicately we can move our weight forwards and backwards over the front foot to the back foot and vice versa. This is something you can all try with me here, but if you pretend to surf with your hips parallel with the stringer, or you can think of this so they're directly facing towards the beach, as we bring our weight forwards and backwards, we're significantly more limited in how we can project our weight forwards and backwards. The first thing you'll notice is that the weight comes onto the side of our feet, because if the hips are sideways, then so the feet will be as well. And then all of the action is happening at the hips. And we also have a limited flexion or bending of the knee as we're coming forwards and backwards as well. So this does influence our balance as well as how smoothly we can create these actions, as well as reduce reducing our compression, which influences how balanced we can become. If we are, however, to ensure that our hips are more so facing towards the front of our board, we can translate our weight forwards and backwards over the front and back foot with a much more open body position rather than being closed off like we're facing sideways, which can help a lot. And it helps to make this transition much smoother. Another thing worth noting, but I won't delve into too much because it's fairly straightforward, is going to be our foot positioning. Now, like we've spoken about for the chest and hips, if the feet are directly across the stringer at a 90-degree angle from the stringer, this will lock us up in the same way as the knees and the hips. So having a slight angle, say from 30 to 45 degrees across the stringer, especially for the front foot, can also act nicely to open up ourselves to the wave. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean that we need to have the feet parallel with the stringer. This is actually going to hinder our surfing, but some angle of the front foot is super functional and something that I found that has helped my surfing, but also everyone that I've coached as well. So from here, that's an in-depth way of essentially explaining that if we can open up our whole body from chest to toes to be front facing, this is going to resolve a lot of our backhand issues. Practice all of this at home and see how this makes things feel more comfortable, and then hopefully you'll find that you can translate this into the water nicely so that you can help your surfing on your backhand. I always like to say getting footage of yourself so you can self-analyze and actually see what's happening, not just what something feels like, is super valuable as well. So that's another thing that I definitely recommend for you if you're able. Usually I find just doing this in and of itself has people feeling more comfortable and like they're in a more familiar position to begin with by being more forwards facing. And so their balance and stability and just their general approach to backhand surfing improves with this alone. And that we actually find the difficulty with backhand surfing isn't inherently due to surfing in this direction on a wave. It's just the unfortunate position that we find ourselves coming into as we've discussed. So for everyone watching this and finding that this somewhat resonates, please feel free to give these little adjustments a go to your surfing to see how this changes things and hopefully makes things feel more comfortable surfing on your backhand. And just quickly before we move on, the channel here is getting up to that 10,000 subscriber mark, which I'm super stoked with, and I'm going to be doing something for it. But I guess just to recap a little bit, so stoked with where the channel has come and what it's been able to grow into, and the community that we've been able to build here, all the way from the start where essentially I was just making little videos of myself surfing, no editing really, nothing too much, and then it's built all the way through to the instructional videos and everything else. And yeah, I just can't thank you guys enough because it's been able to, I guess, grow in this way and been able to provide a lot of value to different people. It's helped my own surfing and helped my own coaching and just led me to be a better surfer and coach, and also helped me build some really great connections within surfing as well. So for all of that, I'm really thankful. I am going to be releasing a bit of a question and answer Q&A video to help celebrate the 10,000 subscriber mark. So a little while ago, or about a week ago, I actually posted a community post that said if you have any questions for the Q&A, then you'll be able to leave those there. So even if you have any questions that you'd like to know from me, whether it's about surfing or anything else to do with myself, what I'm doing, or just anything in general, please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and I'll be selecting from those to answer in the Q&A video, or you can leave them in the community post that I shared as well. But yeah, again, I'm really appreciative, and thank you so much for all the support from the very start to now, and really excited to grow this further and keep going and keep hopefully giving you guys the best content that we can to help your longboarding, to help your surfing, and get you guys to the next level. On top of that, if you did have any questions on this video, or if you had any suggestions for future edits of the Sunday Glide, then please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and we can have a bit of a chat about those down there as well. But we will leave it there for today. I really appreciate you guys watching today, and hopefully you got a little bit out of this. We'll catch you on the next one.